Today, I have a few minutes to spare, so I thought I would talk to you about the top 5 business startup loans with no collateral. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. And if you are doing as marvelous as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today's conversation will revolve around the top 5 business startup loans with no collateral. And let's just talk about how unsecured business loans really work, because this is very important. A lot of people they're pretty confused when it comes to unsecured business loans. Now, unsecured is very simple. Unsecured means that you don't post any collateral, no guarantee when you receive loan proceeds from a bank. The thing here is that when you have a startup, it is very complicated because the banks doesn't know you. The bank doesn't know any history from the business. The business is new. It's a startup, right? And logically, there is no operational history to actually tap into to see if the idea, the business model is profitable or not. So it becomes complicated to really get an unsecured business loan. But the way it works is that you apply and the bank just looks at your credit history. Because if you are a startup, the bank has to look at the credit history of the founder or the founders, right, to see if we have to see how risky the loan proposition will be, and then they will decide to advance the funds or not. And in most cases, even if you are not putting up a specific piece of a collateral for a loan, the loans are being secured in other ways, such as personal guarantee or blanket UCC lien. Now, some of the loans I'm going to talk about today might, in some instances, require a blanket UCC lien. We have an entire show focused on UCC lien, so I'm not going to go into details here, but just know that a blanket UCC lien means what? The lender will file a UCC lien on your business. This means that if your business defaults on its startup business loan, the lender has a right to go after your assets to compensate for whatever remaining amount you owe them. So if you really want to know how to get a startup business loan without collateral, the truth is it is very difficult. You can, however, get financing with a personal guarantee or UCC lien, which is a much easier process and pretty much the industry standard. One thing I also want to say here is that when it comes to personal guarantee, if you have a personal guarantee attached to your small business startup loan with no collateral requirements, you'll still be on the line if you default on your loan. In short, your business is taking on the debt, but a personal guarantee will also make you, the business owner, responsible for the debt in case of default. Now, one thing I also want to say here is that beyond unsecured business loans, you also have unsecured business lines of credit. And the lines of credit are some of the best business financing options out there because they offer borrowers a flexible, revolving capital whenever they need it. And this could be very critical, especially if you are a startup owner, because you can access a business line of credit through, and you can actually use the funds as you see fit. Beyond small business startup loans and small business line of credit, you also have merchant cash advances and you have business credit cards. And those two funding options could also be interesting if you are a startup founder. The reason why I'm talking about this before going to the ranking is that I want to give you the idea that as a startup owner, as a startup founder, you have other funding sources beyond startup business loans with no collateral. In case you don't get it, you don't get the ones you want, you have other options. So merchant cash advances. So if you're searching for small business startup loans with no collateral necessary, you are sure to come across merchant cash advances. And this kind of a funding option is it's sometimes called a cash advance loan. It's just a quick and easy way to get a startup business loan without collateral. And so a merchant cash advance company can offer you a lump sum of capital you can use to grow your business, and you will pay the lender back by allowing them to take a slice of your business's daily credit card sales. This is pretty simple as that. With no collateral required and poor credit scores accepted, merchant cash advance companies can meet your financing needs when you don't qualify for other business loans. One thing I want to say though, merchant cash advances are the most expensive funding solutions on the market. All right. And you also have business credit cards. So if you are just getting off the ground and you need a small business startup loan with no collateral required, we recommend business credit cards over merchant cash advances. In fact, the cool thing here is that a business credit card might be your best options if you're looking for startup business loans with no collateral. So when you are really, the thing is, if you are really in the early stages of your business, odds are you don't want to apply too much for financing either, because you don't know what kinds of costs will come your way. So you don't want to take on more loan than you can handle. So in this case, business credit cards can absolutely fit the bill. And when do you use a business credit card as a loan? When should you pull the trigger on a business credit card over a loan, at least for now? Here are a few rules of thumb. Let's say you don't have time to wait around for a loan. You need flexibility. You don't have much time in business. You have solid personal credit. You lack collateral, and you know you'll be able to pay off what you borrow very soon. So those are indications that you can go ahead and actually use the business credit card as a loan. Before I get into the rankings, please check out our evaluation approach. We have a loan evaluation approach which tells you the strict approach, the rigorous approach that we follow when it comes to categorizing the loans we review on this show, how when it comes to evaluating them, when it comes to listing them, and when it comes to actually reviewing them. So check this out. All right, let's get right into it. Number 5, when it comes to business startup loan with no collateral, BlueVine. Our score 8.5 over 10. And BlueVine is a great source of startup loans with no collateral. And if you're looking for let's say fast cash and you want to have a quick turnaround, BlueVine is the way to go, or could be one of the ways to go. BlueVine will advance your business cash based on your outstanding invoices with amounts up to $500,000. So like Fundbox, BlueVine charges a weekly fee called a discount rate of 0.4 to 1% every week your invoice goes unpaid. So basically, BlueVine really acts as an invoice financing company. So you gotta have some sales that are outstanding before you can use BlueVine. And also, one thing I need to say here is that during the underwriting process, BlueVine will want to see that the outstanding invoice is more than $500 with a due date at least 1 week away. They will not consider applicants with invoices that have payment terms longer than 3 months. Very important. Let me repeat that. BlueVine will not consider applicants with invoices that have payment terms longer than 12 weeks and 3 months. So if you're looking for another thing we've seen is that they were BlueVine is very diversified in terms of their business model. So for example, if you're looking for funding for your women-owned business or minority-owned business that's under 1 year old or with average credit, BlueVine might be the best option for you. They are very cool with that. And so beyond business startup loans with no collateral, they also offer things like lines of credit. They offer invoice factoring, invoice funding. So they're pretty diverse when it comes to that. And another thing I need to mention before closing here is that the BlueVine will offer loans with amounts up to $250,000 with terms of 6 or 12 months and interest rates that range from 4.8% to 51%. So to qualify for either of these products, whether the term loan or the line of credit, you will need a minimum credit score of 600, an annual revenue of 100,000, and at least 6 months in business. Number 4, we have Fundbox. Our score 9/10, and Fundbox actually will offer you a great business startup loan with no collateral, and they actually have been specialized in the last 3 years on line of credit. So they will actually offer you a business startup line of credit with no collateral, which is basically kind of the same thing if you really think about it. The only difference is that for the business credit, you're getting the money. You're getting the money right away, and you can spend it over time. As soon as you repay it, it's still available. Whereas a loan is a one-time thing, right? It's a one-time conversation that you have, and you're getting the funds right away. And for Fundbox, you have the APR hovers between 10% and 80%, and the minimum credit score is 550. And what we love with this Fundbox is that cash can be available by the next day, and they have low minimum credit score requirements. So if you are in the subprime category, if your credit score needs a little bit of improvement, then you might want to consider Fundbox. The rates are kind of high though compared to traditional banks, but hey, this is the price to pay, I guess, right? And to qualify, you need to have a minimum credit score of 550. I already said that. You need to be, the minimum time in business is 3 months, and the minimum annual revenue is $50,000. And Fundbox offers funding as fast as the next business day. We really love that, and qualifying may be easier than with other lenders. And Fundbox also plays an important role in the invoice factoring, invoice factoring sector. So they offer cash advances based on your outstanding invoices. So if you're constantly waiting on your customers to pay your invoices and your cash flow is suffering because of it, you want to try working with Fundbox to receive the cash you are due while you wait. And Fundbox will typically advance you a large percentage of the value of your invoice, up to $100,000, charging 0.5% each week the invoice goes unpaid. And of course, the invoice acts as collateral on the funds that Fundbox advances you. So basically, folks, Fundbox and BlueVine are business lenders that offer self-secured loans. So this show is about the top 5 business startup loans with no collateral. We have 2 categories. And so the first category is business lenders that offer self-securing loans, and I'm going to talk to you about the second category later on. But the thing here is that if you find yourself in the position where an equipment loan or invoice financing makes sense for you, then you should absolutely pursue this self-securing options. Because with the ability to offer some reassurance to the lenders that they'll get their money back, you'll be able to score lower interest rate on those financing products. And so if this is the best option for you, you can consider Fundbox, our score 9/10, or BlueVine, our score 8.5/10. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about the top 5 business startup loans with no collateral. I've already given 2, and I was telling you that those 2 were actually business lenders that offer self-securing loans. Now I'm going to give you 3 more lenders, and those lenders are business lenders that do not require collateral. All right. So number 3, we have Foundation. Not Foundation, Foundation. Our score 9/10, and this is another unsecured line of credit product to consider. And through Foundation, you can secure a line of credit of up to $150,000 on an 18-month term. The thing here is that you can actually convert during the application, you can either choose a term loan for your business startup or a credit line. Foundation is pretty fine with that. Now, Foundation typically works with businesses with a minimum credit score of 660. In other words, the founders must have 660 minimum. Your annual revenue requirements for a foundation line of credit or loan is at least 100,000. This is kind of cool. And like OnDeck, and I will speak about OnDeck later on. Foundation is a great option for term loans and lines of credit, as I said before, for those businesses which are looking for affordable and flexible capital, but either cannot qualify or don't want to wait for SBA or bank funding. Right? So this is so Foundation is really offering the alternative funding path here. And the one thing I want to say here is that when it comes to the Foundation line of credit, you will be able to access a credit line of up to 150,000 with a term of a year and a half, 18 months, and the APR will range from 8% to 30%. The APR is the same for a term loan or a line of credit. We really love the fact that Foundation is more flexible with time in business for the loan, and they only require 1 year, but the credit score requirement is higher though at 660. Right? So regardless of which product you choose, whether it is a term loan or a line of credit for your business startup loan, Foundation will fund loans in an average of 3 business days, making this lender a great option for faster funding. In addition, Foundation, we've realized in our test, is pretty good for their simple and tech-friendly application process, which allows you to apply for a business loan, a business startup loan, quickly and easily without needing to spend a significant amount of time putting together paperwork. Number 2, OnDeck. Our score 9.5 over 10. When it comes to business startup loans with no collateral, OnDeck is a serious contender for the top spot, and you want to give it all your attention. You will not regret it. The thing here is that with OnDeck, you have access to a large catalog of lenders, a large catalog of loan products. The interest rates are slightly more competitive than the other lenders on our list. Those who are offering startup business loans with no collateral required. The rates range from 13.99% to 36%, depending on your qualifications, namely your credit score. So to qualify for OnDeck, you will need a minimum of a 600 personal credit score. And the thing here is that OnDeck is kind of cool because they are actually very diverse in terms of their loan products. They offer short-term loans and lines of credit with the same qualifications for either product. To qualify for a business loan from OnDeck, you will need a minimum of 100,000. I already said that, but what's very important here is that you need to have at least 1 year in business. This being said, for their short-term loan, you can receive amounts of up to $500,000 with terms ranging from 3 to 36 months. So although your APR can be as low as 9.99%, if you have solid qualification, that's how you get it. But if you don't, this APR, even though it's low, it can reach as high as 99% if you are a less qualified borrower. One thing I want to say too before closing this section is that, again, OnDeck has done a lot of work in the last 3 to 4 years to cater to women-owned enterprises and minority-owned enterprises. So you can have, if you are a woman or if you are a woman or you are a minority, a member of any minority groups in the United States, you can actually access funding faster, and you can actually use the funds to cover larger unexpected purchases, or you can use the funds to expand your business. You can use the funds to acquire material to actually operate. So you can use the loan as some kind of working capital. Number 1, folks, when it comes to the top business startup loan with no collateral required. Number one, drum roll. We have Cabbage. I love the name Cabbage anyway. I mean, I love cabbage as a veggie, but I love the name. Cabbage is pretty cool. And Cabbage with K, of course. And the score is a 10 over 10. And Cabbage offers a business startup loan for good credit, bad credit, fair credit, excellent credit. And they also offer a business line of credit that can be unsecured to meet startup owners' needs. So with approvals in as few as 24 hours, Cabbage is kind of cool because they are a great same-day business lender to work with when you need funds quickly. Loan amounts with Cabbage range from $2,000 to $100,000, with over a repayment period set to be between 6 to 12 months. However, because the company offers unsecured funds at a fast rate, Cabbage can be an expensive option because APRs range from 24% to 99%. That's huge, right? So this is very something you have to think about. And one thing I also want to say here is that to qualify for a line of credit from Cabbage or also a loan, the qualifications are the same. You need $50,000 in annual revenue and at least 1 year in business. So even if you are a startup, you know, the notion of startup doesn't mean that you have to be like fresh out of the gate. No, you can still be in business for 1 year and still be a startup. And Cabbage also does not have a minimum personal credit score requirements. So this is one thing that we really love. And you can get a Cabbage line of credit or loan ranging from $2,000 to $250,000 with terms of 6, 12, or 18 months. Interest rates on these credit lines and some of those loans range from 1.5% to 10% per month. All right, and this makes Cabbage a strong contender. Their customer service is fantastic. Their interface is great. They have a simple automated online application process, and funds can be disbursed as fast as the same day. So this is very important. And also, this is a company you want to consider if you need access to a fast business loan to manage your cash flow or fund a small project for your startup. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I really appreciate it. I just want to quickly recap the conversation here. I was talking to you about the top 5 business startup loans with no collateral required. And number 1, we have Cabbage, 10 over 10. Number 2, we have OnDeck, 9.5 over 10. Number 3, Foundation, so without the O, Foundation, and that's 9 over 10 for a rating. And number 4, we have Fundbox, 9 over 10. And number 5, BlueVine, 8.5 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.